We're going to switch off this and I'll show you what we got going on. So Christine Rudy is who we're going to be talking about tonight, but I need to do a sound check real quick, so let's go over and do that. So let me switch over here. All right. Okay, you guys, we'll wait till everybody gets in their seats and we'll present to everybody. Okay. Now I'll come over and see who's all arriving. We'll have everybody get their popcorn and your sweet tea. Hi, I'm good. Awesome. Awesome. Hey, Kat. Hey, Holly. Hey, Jeannie. Good to see you guys. Hey, Bumble. Bumblebee has been like working like a dog all day. Not like a bee, like a dog. No, she's really been working like a bee. She's been a busy bee. She stuck with me and we found something. And then Silkman got on and we started sharing it with him. And he's also been working real hard. He has a video coming out this week about Christine Rudy. So, so much has happened in the last week. I don't even know where to start. So, hey, David. Hey, Tony. Thank you for joining me. Dr. Silkman in the house. BB in the house. Good to see you guys. We got Jim Bucky and Janice. All right. So I'm going to go back to just talking to you for a minute. Let me see if I can. Yeah, we'll do this for a minute. Okay. So you guys, the thing is, so I went on another field trip, and this field trip, it involved Christine Rudy. And the reason is because when we dig into this, you're going to see some extreme significant details that match in the Halbach case as in Christine Rudy. Now, what's interesting is, in this case, I've always kind of wondered to myself, there's a lot of bizarre stuff in this case. I mean, you can't even make it up. We know that. But what really bothered me the most is the body parts are spread out all over. Who does that? It doesn't make any sense to me whatsoever. It's bothered me for a long time. The next thing was, what kind of mindset do you have to be in to not only murder someone, but to dismember them with a saw? Because there's kerf marks, saw marks on the Halbach bones, okay? So we're going to get into Christine Rudy. Now, this is so relevant to the Halbach case in so many ways, but there's really no direct connection at this point. So we're bringing you guys into the research right off the bat. Like I said, I did a couple field trips. One, as you know, was the pre-rally trip to go and research with the other researchers. And we went over and saw Teresa Halbach's grave and paid our respects there. But we have multiple victims in Wisconsin. Now, the idea is to find out who fits the MO of the killer. So what do we need? We need somebody that, I've said this so many times, that can literally bring harm to a female. There is a mindset in a lot of our cultures across the world not to harm women and children. They're usually protected in most situations. Okay, so we have to have somebody who can harm a female. Not only do they have to harm them, but fatal harm. They have to kill them. Now we have to have somebody so deranged that they have no problem cutting up a body and burning it. Then we have to have somebody that decides, the best way to get rid of the remains is to spread it all over the world. So we have it in the gravel pit. We have it out at Michael's materials quarry. We have some in Stevens Pit, which we know is planted. But, we do find a couple other places where there's like two piles in one area. It just doesn't make any sense. And that's been a frustration thing for me. And then found this. And we've been researching this, and we do have some live interviews on people that knew Christine Rudy. This is going to be hard, and you're not going to feel real good afterwards, because this is a 21-year-old girl, and she's 6 months pregnant. And it's within 12 days of Teresa Halbach's reported missing, within 9 days of Carmen's death and Teresa being reported dead, and under 2 hours away. And Christine Rudy's killer had been traveling through Wisconsin and went down to Iowa. There's a church that Christine showed up at, and we'll get into that, for a refuge a few days before she was reported dead. It's only like an hour away from Manitowoc, an hour away from Avery's. So, okay, we're going to switch over. I'm going to get a couple comments in case we have questions, and then I'm fixing to. You can tell I got a little Southern. Plus, been talking to my Southern family a lot recently. So we're going to read some news article. And on the same newspaper, there's a little surprise waiting for you on the same page that we're going to read about Christine Rudy. So, okay, let's go ahead. I can't hardly see that little tiny button. Sorry, guys. I took my glasses off because I only need them to read, and I wasn't going to read. So, all right, guys, here we go. I'm just giving some notes. All right. I'm going to wait till everybody gets caught up. We're sharing. Yes, it's sharing my screen. So we'll give it a few minutes for that to catch up. Let me see if I can pull that separate. I can. So we'll take this screen and we'll make it smaller just enough to where I can tell and you guys can see this. Yeah, I let my Southern slip. I know. I do have a lot of Southern. I was born in the South. I was born in Florida. I was raised in Arkansas, so I'm a little Southern gal. Been in Wisconsin a long time, though. I don't think you lose where your roots are, though. Hey, Scales of Justice, welcome. Hey, Janie. No sound for you? Is everybody else able to hear me? Okay, can I get a yes? Maybe I'll refresh. I don't know if I'm supposed to. Arg, arg. Not sure if that was good or bad. Oh, that works out pretty good. I think. Yes, yes, yes. Okay. Mary made it. Hey, no, you're not too late. We haven't started. I've kind of been waiting for everybody to get in their seat. Mary, we're going to be talking about Christine Rudy tonight, and we're just going to identify her, get to know her a little bit. You're going to be hearing a lot coming from our researchers, and I'm hoping you guys will join on the very solid similarities between Teresa Halbach's murder and Christine Rudy's. And just before we start, I'm going to say it again. The reason that our interest is in this is because we have the same MO for a killer. Both girls are killed by, according to the state, shot in the head. Both girls are dismembered. Both girls are burned. And both girls' remains are scattered far and wide. They happen. Teresa goes missing on October 31st, and Christine Rudy is killed on the 12th of November of the same year, 2005. They're about less than 2 hours away from each other, so, you know, we need to really look at this. The killer was traveling through the state of Wisconsin, going midway down the state, going through Wisconsin into Iowa. He went on a crime spree. You're going to hear about a lot of it in this. But what's interesting is not only am I telling you these cases run neck and neck, the newspaper did, because I found an old newspaper to share with you. So we're going to go ahead and do that. Is everybody ready? Can I get a yes, yes, yeah? Yep. We were waiting on you, Mary. Just waiting on you, love. I'm glad to see you. Well, hello, Saxon from Las Vegas. That's awesome. Hey, Kat. Good to see you. All right, guys. Oh, you haven't missed a thing, Mary. Here we roll. Okay. I'm not going to be seeing your chat, so I'll pop back from time to time because I want to get this rolling here. Okay. So what this is called the Leader Telegram, and it is for March 12th, 2006. Now, that's quite a ways away from when both Teresa, Carmen Boutwell, and Christine Rudy died. Now, let's do the timeline. Teresa disappeared October 31st. So did Carmen Boutwell. On 11/03 of '06, Teresa was reported missing by her mother, but dead in the incident report. Carmen Boutwell was reported dead. 9 days later, this poor young woman named Christine Rudy, let me grab a picture for you, was also killed. She had just gotten married September, and she's only been married for like 8 weeks. And it was a shotgun wedding because she was already pregnant. And she was 6 months pregnant when she was killed by her husband. So let's go ahead and jump in here the best we can. So Christine Rudy murder, I'm over here. I don't know if you can see my cursor. I hope you can. But I'm far over on the right on the column. So it shows that the shooting site is number 1, which is down here on County Highway MM. Then he dismembers the body. This is Christine Rudy on number 2, which happens to be his mother's. And then 3, he dumps only the torso in a garbage can, a large garbage can. He dumps her over the Colbine Bridge into the Chippewa River. Now, this did not just involve a husband and a wife. This involved a mistress. And a plea deal yields information of the murder. Mistress says she saw Rudy cut up the body. Now, Sean Rudy is the husband. Sean Rudy kept the shell casing from the shotgun slug authorities say he used to shoot his wife last year. That's just one of the bizarre details in the Clark County case that involves murder, body dismemberment, an affair, and rampant use of methamphetamine. Rudy, 23, is charged with killing his wife, Christine, 21, several days after they attend birthing classes at a Chippewa Falls hospital. He is also charged with killing the couple's unborn child. Charges involve burning body parts of his wife and unborn child, placing other body parts in a garbage can and dumping that can in the Chippewa River south of Cornell. Rudy's court proceedings have been put on hold since his attorney resigned last week for professional reasons. Rudy told a cellmate in the Clark County Jail about a possible defense, and that defense was disclosed in the criminal complaint. Now let's stop there for a minute before we keep going. Already, we have some similarities. We have the victim being shot, the slug, or the slug is going to come up with some DNA later. It's questionable. Rudy is charged with killing his wife, and then, I can't really say this, his child too, and then he burns the body parts. What do we have in this case? Same thing. And he dismembers the woman. And he disperses the body parts. That's what we have in the Avery case. There's so many similarities. Rudy's court proceedings have been on hold. Why? His attorney walked away. Guess what? Stephen was left without an attorney for a while there too. And because he was awarded $400,000 in his civil suit but didn't have it yet, he couldn't get a lawyer for a little bit. Happens here too. All right, continue. A key aspect in this case against Rudy is information from Heather Tisler, 18. Now I'm going to stop there. Heather Tisler is supposedly Christine's best friend, okay? But she's not. She's having an affair with Sean behind Christine's back, okay? So let's go to page 6 and we'll continue. Okay, so you're actually looking at the mobile home. You got it, a trailer. You're then looking at a little shed over here on the left side. And I'm going to read you the similarities. Keep in mind, this isn't Stephen's. This is actually his mother's, not Stephen's mother's, Rudy's mother. The shed on the left side of the photo is where Sean Rudy reportedly dismembered his wife's body after shooting her November 12th. So that's where Stephen's supposed to have done Teresa, is dismembered her right in his garage, right? Police also found a safe at the residence of Fairview Avenue south of Stanley. The safe reportedly contained the casings of the shotgun shell Rudy used in the shooting. Are you kidding me? Rudy in complaint describes frequent drug use. So we're talking about Tesler. This is the third will. This is the Mistress, the one that's supposed to be Christine's best friend. She says she witnessed Rudy shoot, dismember, and dispose of Christine Rudy's body. And keep in mind, Christine Rudy is 6 months pregnant. Tesler, now of Merrill, agreed to provide information as part of a plea agreement in January. The pact indicates she will receive a year of probation and drug treatment if she gives truthful testimony. Tesler was having an affair with Rudy, she said in a 379-page report compiled by the Clark County Sheriff's Department and State Department of Justice Division of Criminal Investigations. So that's something we're going to be trying to find. I want everybody trying to get that. If we have to FOIA it, whatever we got to do, we need that. We need that. Actually, that'd be a CASO report too, which is retarded. Oh, Lord, the similarities are killing me. Okay. So from here on out, the mistress's name in the report is called Tesler. So Tesler also said Christine Rudy once was her babysitter, and the two were coworkers at a Thorpe bar and restaurant last year. It's a very strange case, Clark County District Attorney Darwin Zwig said. According to court records, Christine M., and you got it, it's Marie. So we've got Carmen Marie Boutwell, Teresa Marie Halbach, and now we have Christine Marie Lee. Christine M. Lee married Michael A. White, now 22. They divorced in October 2003. She became involved with Rudy, who has a 4-year-old son, when he was released from prison after serving time for a 2002 drug connection in Chippewa County. Christine had a history of psychological problems, became pregnant, and was due to deliver in early February. Christine and Sean were married in September 18. She knew, this is his quote, Sean, the husband's quote, "She knew I didn't want that child, you know. I told her all the time," Sean said in a police interview November 20th, 8 days after the police say Sean killed Christine with a 12-gauge shotgun on an isolated road south of Stanley. Rudy also said his wife had drug problems. "When she got with me, she became a drug addict because I had money." Reports indicate he routinely used and provided drugs at times. Now catch this. Now before I say it, I want to remind you, Rimiker said that Carmen Boutwell's homicide, he was quoted in the paper saying, to solve it would be like looking for a needle in a haystack. And that's always thought of me in my mind of, is that how she OD'd? Was a needle in a haystack, a needle, methadone or methamphetamine or whatever it's called. Okay. Reports indicate he routinely used and provided drugs, at times injecting his wife and Tesla with I can't say this word, methamphetamine. Meth. That's why they probably call it that. Okay. Rudy worked at Leslie Marble Products in Thorpe from April until he was laid off. On what date, you guys? November 3rd. We got Carmen and Teresa reported dead on November 3rd. Okay. On Friday, November 4th, Christine applied for work at the same company, according to the company official. On Monday, November 7th, now this would be after the Rev was found in the Halbach case, and this is the day before Carmen Boutwell's funeral. On Monday, November 7th, the Rudys and Tesla took a trip to Iowa. The trip started after the Rudys attended a childbirth class in Chippewa Falls and after Sean made a meth purchase in Stanley. Sean and Tesla robbed an Iowa residence November 10th while Christine stayed in the car. They took food, cash, jewelry, 3 guns, and other items. Sean told police he left his wife on the top of a hill near Finmore after an argument. She walked 8 miles into town. Now keep in mind, you guys, we're talking November. It's cold. And she's 6 months pregnant. And she walked 8 miles into town where church members cared for her. Sean turned his cell phone off and slept at the park with Tesla before picking up Christine November 11th. He didn't even worry about her overnight. Dead of winter in Wisconsin, you can freeze to death. Quote, I think she found out that me and Heather were sleeping together. What can I say, you know? I live a strange life, Sean told police. The Rudys and Tesla crossed paths with Rudy's mother, Marjorie Nelson of Rural Stanley, and her husband on Saturday, November 12th. Now, let's pause there. November 12th is when they find the first bone, according to the CASO report, in the Halbach case, in the Avery case. First bone. And November 12th is when everything seems to happen. They get back the keys to the Avery property. They let them come back in, and the Dasseys come back in, release it as a crime scene. And it's the last day that all kinds of police officers and law enforcement are over at Teresa's. And then on November 13th, we have case silence in the Halbach Avery case. Absolutely not one report for November 13th. The only report there is of that one officer who reports he went to Teresa's to get DNA evidence. But then when you look at the login and log out sheet, he actually did that the day before, which is the 12th. Okay? So Rudy's and Tesla crossed paths with Rudy's mother, Marjorie Nelson of rural Stanley, and her husband on Saturday, November 12th, in Maryland and Jackson County. Nelson and her husband were away from their residence most of that weekend. Tesla said Christina brandished a 3-inch knife several times and threatened to jump out of the moving car as part of a suicide conversation. Sean eventually stopped the car just off the highway MM near Clark County Forest. Quote, I think it was because of the drugs. It was taking control of her, Tesla said about Christina's actions. In a July 6th report, a doctor said Christine had panic attacks and, quote, does have some psychiatric issues, which she deals with, but has stopped most of her medications. Off Highway MM, the Rudys got out of the car, argued, and Christine sat down facing the woods. Sean got back in and drove a short distance. He stopped, loaded a stolen shotgun, drove back to Christine, and he pointed the gun out the driver's side window, called his wife and said, till death do us part, and fired, Tesla said. The blast took off most of one side of Christine's face. Sean retrieved a tarp from the trunk. What do we have in this case? We have a tarp full of evidence over at Stevens. Wrapped his wife's body in it and put it in the back seat. Sean told Tesler he would kill her if she said anything. Sean drove to his mother's house about 5 miles north of the site of the shooting. He took Christine's body into the shed, cut off her arms and her legs, placed them in a bag in a garbage can. He used a long, curved knife that was in the shed, Tesler said. Now we know we have cut marks on the bones over in the Habak case. We also have them in this case with Christine Rudy. And you're never going to guess who the anthropologist is that does the entire bone evaluation. Yeah, you got it. Both cases, it's Dr. Eisenberg. Guess who performs the autopsy on Teresa Habak and Christine Rudy? You got it. Same guy, same MD, Steyer. Okay. She says, Tesler says, I stood there. I didn't know what to do, she said, about watching the dismemberment. Bloody items from the car and shed, including Sean's clothes, were put in a burning barrel and destroyed. Stop right there. What do we have? Burning barrel. Clothes being burned. Okay. He used bleach to clean the car and shed, smoked meth, and then what do you think he did? He took a shower. Wow. Who else took a shower? Bobby. Okay. Tesler told police she never had any plans of permanently being with Sean and that she and Sean did not plan to take Christine on a trip to drive her insane so he could get rid of her. Does that not sound strange? Tesler told police that she never had any plans on permanently being with Sean and that she and Sean did not plan to take Christine on a trip to drive her insane so that they could get rid of her. That's like way over confessing. Something's not right there. Okay, let me go back and just make sure that we've still got a chat. How we doing? Yeah, I see shower. We doing okay over here, guys? I can't see if you're asking me questions, but we'll come back. We'll come back. We're going to be digging into how this relates to everything. Why are there similarities? Let's see here. Okay. Okay, all good. Thank you, all, Grace. All right, I'm going to go back. Whew. My heart pounds when I read this, you know? Okay. So where were we? We did that. I'm just trying to find, I should have marked it a little bit. Okay, yeah. Tesler told police she never had any plans of permanently being with Sean and that she and Sean did not plan to take Christine on a trip to drive her insane so he could get rid of her. Okay, up at the top here. Meth use continued the next day when Sean duct taped a black garbage bag over the garbage can and loaded it into a van, keeping it upright with hay bales. They drove around the Holcomb and Cornell areas before he threw the can off the Cobain Bridge and into the Chippewa River. Sean helped Tesler move out of her Thorpe residence on November 14th. Several of her household items were taken to the Nelson residence and burned. Tesler said debris from the burning barrel also was placed in the 10-foot diameter pile. Debris from the pile revealed adult and fetal remains, according to forensic reports. J.C.M. Walters, 24, of Stanley, told police Sean confessed to her in a telephone call about the murder, a conversation Tesler said she overheard. Walters faces meth-related charges in Eau Claire County in court. Margie Nelson, now remember that's Sean's mother, told police Sean admitted to her that he killed Christine. He might have, but I kind of blew him off if he did. I never believe anything Sean tells me because he's a strange person. Rudy was stopped by Thorpe police and taken into custody on a charge of being What, you guys? You got it. Same as Stephen. A felon in possession of a firearm. Yep. Police eventually matched one of the weapons stolen from Iowa to a slug found by police January 20th in a shooting site. The slug had Christine's DNA on it, or so the media says at this point. We'll find out. Witnesses say they saw Rudy separating Christine's jewelry on November 12th or 13th. Some of that jewelry was found in a safe on the Nelson property. The safe also contained the casing from the shell that police believe Rudy used to kill his wife. Sean, in the November 20th interview, told police the last state of mind she was in, she just wanted to die. He notified police 2 days after her disappearance, and he said he simply left her on the roadside. He then talked to Christine's parents. I need to find her. I'm so worried about her, he said in November 20th interview. Tesler said she delayed coming forward out of fear. Quote, I wish I could have helped sooner, she said, the day after her plea agreement was signed. Quote, I really do. And I'm sorry, I was just scared. I didn't know what to do. I couldn't live with it anymore. Police are still investigating information that Rudy may have been involved in more than 25 burglaries, many to taverns, to support his drug habit. Tetchler's agreement only involves Clark County offenses. She and Rudy may face charges in Iowa and other jurisdictions. Now hold on, you guys. Before we go any further, look what's right here. Do you see this? Rudy complaint describes frequent drug use. Prosecutor Avery case doesn't need gag order. Let's switch gears, shall we, and go right into the Halbach case. Ready? Manitowoc, a defense attorney's request for a gag order in the homicide case against Stephen Avery and his nephew is unnecessary because the main person speaking publicly about the case is Avery himself, and the special prosecutor in the case said, quote, claims of innocence, police misconduct, prosecutorial zeal, conspiracy, and other self-serving topics have been the norm on local TV rather than the exception, Calumet County District Attorney Ken Kratz said. Yeah. Avery's attorney, Dean Strain, argued Thursday that public comments by prosecutors and law enforcement threatened to jeopardize Avery's constitutional right to a fair trial. Avery, 43, and his nephew, Brendan Dassey, 16, are charged with sexually assaulting and killing photographer Teresa Halbach, 25, last fall. Strain filed a motion asking a judge to prevent the parties from commenting on Avery's case outside of court. But Kratz said Friday he has been confining his comments during news conferences to information publicly available in the criminal complaints. Yeah. At news conferences on March 1st and 2nd, Kratz prefaced his comments by saying, quote, the defendants are presumed innocent, quote, he said in a written response to Strain's motion. In a written response. Yeah, he didn't say it out loud. Avery was wrongfully convicted of a 1985 rape and spent 18 years in prison before new DNA evidence showed him that he did not commit the crime, and he was freed in 2003. Okay, I'm coming back over to chat. Goodness. I don't know, you guys. What are you guys thinking right now? Somebody share with me. Okay, we're going to scroll back up and we'll try to capture some of this. Okay. Thank you, LL Grace, for all the pretty, pretty, pretty colors and rainbows. Yeah, like Dr. Silkman said, 3 young women dead within 9 days, all in Wisconsin. Okay. Tony says again, narcotics, meth. Yep. We are doing a Discord if you want to come into live group chat after this. It's very interactive live, and you can do question and answers. You can feel free to comment any way you want. You can either remain in the text part where you're doing what you do now and type, or you can actually come on voice and we can talk to you. You can also mute yourself on voice so that you don't have to speak, but you can hear what the discussion is and listen to it like a radio if you want. Um, it is a heartless crime. There's a lot of similarities here. Um, it's chilling. Like Sheila said, Sheila Harmon, it's absolutely chilling. Um, yeah, was Jeannie, are you kidding me? Was the tarp brown? I want to know that too. And we've got Eisenberg, you guys. Now, in this case, first, she identified that the fetus had been cut out of the body, and she identified it as a fetus, and turned out it was baby bird bones. Yeah, it was bird bones. Because when they found the torso of Kristen Rudy, the baby was still in the womb. I know, Mary, this is how I feel too. Now, I've done a field trip. We'll be bringing that on later this week. Um, Actually, it'll be tomorrow night in Central Time, around 8 o'clock p.m. And what we're going to do is we're going to bring some of that field trip to you. There'll be an interview on there from a local that actually knew and associated on a regular basis with the group, did know Christine Rudy, and did know Sean Rudy as well. And unfortunately, there is a connection with her knowing this other girl as well, Heather. Let's see. Holly asked, wasn't there a witness who called in saying they saw Teresa taking pictures of a cow on the side of the road after she had left Avery's? Yep, absolutely. Somebody did say that. Yeah. Tony said stuff indeed. Didn't Uyghur mention stuff in the telephone conversation? Yes, he did. That stuff got pulled out of Dassey's, you know? Everybody, I don't know what to think. I'm going to do a cough drop and get a drink real quick. When I read a lot, it's real dry and I get thirsty. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, Jeannie, I know. I'm thinking there may have been something going on there we didn't quite know. Maybe there is a connection. Maybe he found TH first. What would be worse, you guys, is what if he found Carmen, thought he choked her and stole her drugs, and thought that was Teresa because she was on a drug sting, and then found out that there was a Teresa still alive. Would have freaked him out if he was on meth. Just saying. I know that's wild conspiracy, but there's so much to this case we need to really look at. And literally, there are paperwork to this case. We have the autopsy report of Christine Rudy. We'll be sharing that pretty quick here, doing some comparisons between what was found on Christine Rudy, the autopsy report of Teresa Habach. So, yeah, someone did, and it wasn't Stephen Avery who encountered Teresa. Very true. Mary, I've been thinking it's about drugs. Yeah. Holly writes, maybe they saw her taking pictures on the side of the road, thought the camera could be, well, I know, right? Could be used to pawn for drug money. Or maybe they planned on stealing her RAV or something. Yeah, they never did find her nice camera. You're right, Holly. Narcotics and the same thing that ties 3 murders in 9 days in Wisconsin. Yeah. I agree, Debbie. This is mind blowing. It's really mind blowing. And the more we dig into this, the more you're going to find out there's so many connections. I mean, like the same MO, not connections like where people know each other, but connections like dot to dot, like the dismemberment and the burning of the body, then the separation of the body into pieces going in so many different locations. And then you have that all in the Habach case. And then you switch over to the Rudy case and he's got the arms and the legs in one place. And then he puts the body in a barrel and we've got burning barrels in the other case. Takes that, dumps that off in the river. We've got stuff washing up in the Habach case on the edge of the ditch there. AudioVox phone and stuff. It's just Debbie Kennedy says it's mind-blowing. I agree. Um, Mary was TH a mule. Well, if she was a meth mule or if she was undercover DA for meth, could be very, very much there could be a connection. Yeah, he's definitely a psychopath. I know, Sheila. Put your jaw back in place. That's why I said this is going to be jaw dropping. There are some disturbing similarities. Bumblebee's giving you guys the address there. She's working pretty hard. She's been working on this specific part with Christine Rudy, and so has Zoe. Pretty much as much as we're awake. We've been trying to do remote location where we go out and do interviews with the locals that did know Christine. We've got those, couple of those. We were able to document the locations they're talking about and actually go there and take photographs of it all. So we'll be showing that in the next few days. Silkman has a DNA video coming out comparing Teresa, Hawbach, and Carmen Rudy's DNA results. So, and we'll be not only just comparing the DNA results, but the mitochondrial DNA, okay? So we've got this pretty much set up for you guys to go with us and explore it, but I challenge you guys to help us along the matter. You can go to the library and you can drop off tips there. You can also do it here. You can mail me, and as always, same email. If you find something that you think looks pertinent, you want to add it to the movie we're going to be releasing, add it to the information, you can email me at that address, which is rubberducky2005@yahoo.com. Debbie asked, how does this happen? How do they just get away with this? It leaves your mind blown with so many questions. Jeannie says, look at all the angles. I know. My head's spinning too. That's why I said, how are you guys feeling? How are you doing? Sometimes it's almost too much for the brain. We're going to have to chew on this slowly. Okay? Does KZ see this connection? I'm not sure, Sheila, but we're going to bring it up. It is possible. Um, you know, it's hard to say right now. I kind of think that's a different video in itself. So we'll leave that alone for now. But I do think she's well ahead on the, if you thought of this case as a chess game in court, she's 10 moves ahead. So, mind blown, Cat. You got it. You got it, Mary. Okay, LL Grace says, or maybe they had this scenario set in their mind, same way movie was in Brendan's mind when he did his confession. I don't know, maybe thought this is how we will framework first. I don't know. Yeah, we got to chew on this a little bit. All right, guys. Anybody have any questions you want to throw out there or comments? I can switch it back over, and then let's go ahead and stop sharing there. By the way, yeah, that's a pantyhose. It's to cover the mic so I don't spit on the mic. Okay, guys. All right, I'm out of breath. You're more than welcome to come on to Discord and do question and answers with us. I don't know. We've got a long way to go. We're just starting, but you're there with us from the beginning. We're going to get to know a lot more about Christine, about how the court case went. Yeah, I know, Jeannie. We're going to have to get there. Obviously, drugs are some sort of the connection. The Rav's got all the bolts pulled out of it. Like, it looks like all the panels have been pulled out to me. And I believe Dr. Sookman's also questioned this. We're questioning whether the Rav was taken apart so that maybe they could get in there and look for drugs. It's just a question. So, yeah, not that great to look at, but when I don't have a document to share, I'll share this. I know, Jeannie, we'll get there. We'll get there. But you need to remember, as Zellner said, you don't get there unless you have patience and perseverance. So we got it. We got to take our time, and we got to do it nice and slow. Plus, we need time to digest this entire thing. And you guys remember, they went into the Dassey residence, and they came out with that stuff. Pants aren't that stuff. What do they do with that stuff? In the Habak case, they take it to David Rimiker. So, all right, guys. I love you guys. And much love to all of you. I'm going to go ahead and close off. And I want to thank you from the bottom of my heart for all your support for Brendan and for Stephen. And, you know, who knows? One of these days, one of us is going to crack this case. So until then, if you didn't do the crime, you shouldn't do the time. Thank you, guys. Have a good night. If you do want to come to Puddle, we'll do that too. Okay, now I got to get down here and see the littlest button. All right. Bye-bye, guys.